DC Comics is so big at times, and there's so many characters, even obscure characters might get left hanging because you can't distribute screen time evenly when you got so many characters. One of these characters being this being known as Citizen Steel. Kids seem to know who he is, like he's famous or something. They publicly recognized to the point where he even got the key of the city. Citizen Steel Day. He's one of those characters that have very little appearances, but that doesn't mean he isn't strong. Surprisingly, despite him being this underrated, he's hilariously and shockingly appeared in live action. To sum it up about him, his name is Nathan Heywood, or Nate Heywood. He is Citizen Steel, the indestructible man. During a massacre that left most of his family dead, his body was transformed into organic steel. His strength is so uncontrollable they had to harness him with a metal shell to restrain it. I can't run, I can't feel anything. We get more lore in his suit right here. They talk about how Nate needs something to restrict his movements. He has to protect the environment from his own power so he can open the door without ripping it off the hinges by accident. Lore on how his suit works here and stuff of that such. This armor, he doesn't wear it to protect himself. He wears it so everybody can be safe from his own might. This special suit was made by a super smart being, Mr. Terrific. I have a video about on the channel as well. Make sure you check that video out too. It's thanks to him that he was able to wear a suit to kind of decrease his power level so he won't just go crazy out of the blue. I mean, he's a guy with so much might, he cracks the floor while walking. So yeah, it's hard to suppress this kind of might. It's stated here when his leg was amputated, he began to grow a solid steel tibia, an entire new leg. Then came the metal muscle fibers, and now your skin has been transmuted into some kind of organic steel. Because his nerves are lined with the same organic shell your skin is, you won't feel temperature change or be able to tell when you're touching wood or metal or flesh. You won't feel anything. Normal sized humans are literally lightweight to his strength. Y'all get tossed around. You got occasions like this, you can get a little small example of his strength doing push-ups with fingertips with a whole bunch of rocks on his back, just to give you a ballpark or bare minimum so far. You know, doing teamwork stuff, working with a team. Of course, a metal garage needs to be open, no problem. Huge machines he can move or rip out of the wall with his raw strength. Buses that are thrown in the air, he's strong enough to catch them, showing that's nowhere near his limit. He's not even tired after such a thing. Buses can vary in weight from 5 to 10 tons. And this kind of stuff seems easy to him. I mean, this kind of stuff makes sense considering that buses are nothing compared to tanks, which can weigh up to 50 tons. A good way to understand his strength is to understand beings like Atom Smasher, being that's literally wrestling with the Spectre, God's wrath incarnate. But of course, that's when he changes sizes and stuff like that. But just to give you an idea, like these things that Atom Smasher and other beings were battling, these things were giving Atom Smasher, like these little minion things was giving Atom Smasher issues. This type of stuff is crucial considering how strong Atom Smasher is. I just showed you with the Spectre and crap. You see Steel pulls up on these things that was giving Atom Smasher some issues to let you know how much of a heavy hitter he is. He just got straight raw power or raw strength. And keep in mind, when he's wearing this suit, he's technically nerfed. And these beings wanted to take this junk off of him, but they didn't understand what they was doing. They were just powering him up when they take this suit off of him. He wears it to slow himself down. They didn't know this, but yeah, once he took this off, he got more powerful than ever. You know he's built different when it comes to strength because there was this ridiculous strong being Gog. He was blowing everybody back, but yet Nathan was still able to keep on walking. It kind of lets you know that he's built different. Tentacles of huge beings, he's helpful in holding. Even if things are bigger than him, that doesn't necessarily mean you can overpower him because he's way stronger with his sizes, wouldn't you agree? And when it comes to his durability, he can withstand a lot. Getting hit with a tree, for example, this tree ain't enough to move him. I think we can all agree, we can kind of get an understanding of what's a bare minimum of his punching power if he can withstand being slapped into buildings hard enough to where the building collapses itself. And he can get back up from stuff like this. It's confirmed that special type of missiles, nothing short of that would be a bare minimum needed to knock him down. I'm talking not to beat him, but knock him down. As near as I can tell, it would take nothing less than an AIM-9 Sidewinder to even knock you down. Stuff that's basically strong enough to blow through buildings would be a bare minimum needed against Citizen Steel to even hope to damage him or just knock him down. I mean, it's kind of proven when you can get hit by big creatures that are basically building size and fly through a building, or can hit hard enough to flatten a building basically, and he's okay from stuff like this. I'd be willing to bet that his punch's power can blow away buildings too. Gunfire is a joke to him, counters this and slings him back. I'm talking about just raining a hail of bullets all over him. It just ain't gonna cut it, honestly. Don't use a sword on him. Just because you're big and scary doesn't mean your attacks will harm him, even if you try to cut him, because he can dish a lot and he can take a lot. Yeah, he has so much strength that he can accidentally pop a ball by hitting it. He can hit hard enough to pretty much make a cat sleepy, even if it's pretty decently big. He's got to be careful because even in boxing matches, he can accidentally mess people up pretty badly. You guys have to watch out for his strength fighting our man. Large bruiser characters like Mammoth, we've seen him hit him so hard to where he kind of gets sleepy, like he hit him with another mofo. But there's implications that this guy, even though we haven't seen him necessarily do it on screen, there's an indication that he could be a planet buster, star buster, universe shaker, trembler, galaxy trembler, blah, blah, freaking blah, because compared to some of the powerhouses we've seen him scuffle with, there's indication that he could be in that level too, but we just haven't seen him shake the universe or nothing, you know. Like, there's this really strong being known as Gog, right? We've seen him handling beings like Superboy tiers, Kryptonian tiers, like even Superman himself is even impressed saying that guy can hit. We've seen his being Gog do this to Kingdom Come Superman. So yeah, he's constantly a threat for Superman tiers and the powerhouses of DC, the heaviest powerhouses of DC. Multiple powerhouses, like even Speed Force users, Superman tiers, Power Girls, grabbing them at the same time. This being Gog, you're probably wondering why am I bringing this up so much? And the fact this guy can break Green Lantern constructs like Alan Scott's constructs. This being Gog that's extremely powerful was blowing, like I already showed all the stuff that Gog can do, and I showed this already. Notice how he's able to stand up through the winds this being is producing anyway. Like, Citizen Steel proves that he can punch hard because we already seen how strong Gog is. This is like a fake Gog he sends through the air like this. You do not want none of Steel when his armor's off, so you can really see his true power despite the size difference, him being like the size of buildings and stuff. He punches them and knocked them over, showing his punching power. There's implications that even though we haven't seen him bust a planet or anything like that, we know that Gog can give Kryptonians or Green Lantern tiers issues. Even though he didn't necessarily beat him or nothing, it's implied he could actually in narratively harm a being this top tier. If you read enough DC, you know planet busting isn't nothing. Even if he hasn't shown doing it, there's a lot of characters that can still compete with some of the top tiers in raw strength. There's implications Steel might be like this as well. Because when you see his resilience, you get to see that he's still able to keep moving even though he's feeling pain in every nerve against Gog. We've seen Steel's body withstand attacks from, one can say or argue, Kryptonian tiers, like Black Lantern, Kal-El, for example. I mean, half the time he's technically suppressed because he's most of the time wearing this suit. But despite his little bit of showings, there's heavy implications that he has to be at least Kryptonian tier to some degree. Even if you say he's weaker than some of the top tier Kryptonians, he has to be somewhere in their ballpark. When there's literally top tier Kryptonian beings like Power Girl, for example, I think we all can admit that Power Girl is definitely a top tier Kryptonian. And it was even stated here, give me everything you've got. She said, are you sure? If you notice, I quite pack a punch. And she proceeds on doing it. And he's okay from a full power punch. Apparently, this was everything she got without holding back, apparently. The occasions of you seeing how much he can withstand kind of adds up with statements like Black Lantern Kal-El pretty much saying, you could give Kara a run for her money. Kryptonians he's talking about, saying not bad, Citizen Steel. If this was to be taken seriously, that would prove that he's way above Earth or planet shattering level. He would be way above even star shattering, if we're being honest, compared to what the powerhouses in DC Comics can do. Destroying planets and stars is literally a joke to most DC powerhouses, especially Power Girl, for example. His punches would feel like multiple Earths or 50 or 60 or 100 Earths landing on you, basically. If they're really comparing him to the powerhouse Kryptonians, that really changes the game of his might. There's really no need to get real specific on which Kara is he talking about. Is he talking about Power Girl or Supergirl? It doesn't really matter because Power Girl and Supergirl are confirmed to be some of the mightiest beings in the multiverse. Power Girl and Supergirl are comparable to each other in raw power. They got the same powers. And Citizen Steel gets compared to Kryptonians like Kara, Power Girl, Supergirl in power and durability, and apparently took a full power punch from the said Kryptonian. There's a lot of writer intent suggesting that the writers want him somewhere in the powerhouse ranges with the top tier Kryptonians. Steel being comparable to Supergirl or even Power Girl is crazy, considering that them two in strength can crack the planet in half. These are statements that we can take seriously, considering that she's similar to her cousin Superman. We know Superman can actually destroy planets, so these statements are legit when we actually see characters do stuff like this all the time. So there's implications that he can not only mess up a whole bunch of planets, or his punch feels like multiple planets like this falling on you. There's implications that he could hit with sun trembling or multiple sun trembling force or multiple suns exploding in your face. That's what his punch would feel like. His body can withstand all kinds of energy projective type of blasts. He's able to survive crazy stuff, even though in this particular occasion, one could say he did lose technically because he wasn't able to move when his metal skin was near absolute zero. He technically did lose, but yeah, he survived though, so it kind of shows how strong he is. I guess that would be his weakness, one could say. But yeah, short and sweet. I think you get the idea. He's ridiculously strong, but to what degree is really unknown. He lacks screen time, but it's implied that he's in them Kryptonian ranges. What do you think? It's extremely hard for him to take damage, right? But before I get going, I got to real quick say thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect them. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.